In this session, we are looking at the writing process, and our specific area is planning our writing. So our agenda today is to look at the topic outcomes, look at what we need to read and view, and include that biblical perspective in it because it's got some great notes for us, and then look at our assignments this round. So our topic outcomes are generally a list of bullet points at the start of every session, and it's going to give us a quick rundown of the concepts we're going to explore in that particular session. We achieve these outcomes by completing the assignments. So anytime you're like, well, why are we doing that project? Or this feels like busy work. It isn't. It's all about figuring out how to make all of these things real to us so that we are practicing them and exploring them. So check out this word, recall. This is going to be a key theme of this particular session. We want to recall the difference of tone and voice in academic writing. These are things you know, but we are looking at that moment of thinking about it, of processing, yes, I know that, and that's why it matters. We want to discuss the types of writing in our field of study, because that's going to vary from student to student. We want to apply that first step of the writing process. We want to brainstorm ideas, because we're going to have our topic, and we may already know of that idea, but we want to figure out exactly what that looks like, and we're going to start that process. And that means narrowing it down as we move further along. A student in one of the previous sessions included this quote, and I loved it. It's from Claude Bernard, and he says, "It is what we think we already know that often prevents us from learning." I teach the same classes over and over. You might think, oh, that must be boring or dull, but it isn't, because there is always something that I thought I knew about writing that is upended or explored or expanded in a way that I learn and I grow, and I get to explore each of your different areas every time. So I am constantly learning something new and exciting. So let's make sure we have that growth mindset and that open mindset to see what we have been using, but that maybe we can revamp, reuse, revitalize as we go forward. You're going to recognize so much of what we cover in class. You've probably been hearing about this stuff since grade school, but what fifth grade you needed from writing class is not the same as what you need now as an adult learner. And that's what we're looking at. We're saying, as adults, what can I get out of these ideas and methods, and what do I want to take with me into my future courses? So readings and viewings. One, in the course shell, you're going to walk through all these different topics and explore what they share and how they share those ideas. But also, if you want to review that information in a separate document, I have a document in the Student Lounge called Full Course Shell. It's listed as a spreadsheet, and it puts everything together. I also share each session in an announcement. I try to give it to you in a number of places, so if you want a downloadable format, you can do it that way. And then if you want to explore the much more exciting version with all of the great infographics, you can do that through the course shell. Our biblical perspective has so many great points about encouragement and exploring God's word and love. And notice that part right there in the beginning, which is just such a good point about what we are looking at as we look at the writing process. That space of, what do I need to grow my knowledge and my insights? How can I be the strongest possible communicator? Because that's what we're doing. We already talk and we write and we share and we read, but how can we strengthen that in every possible way? That's what we want to do, and that's what we're going to accomplish. Our assignments this week come out to 3 things, but I wanted to point out that we have those 2 discussion boards. We have our get to know you discussion this week for a little bit less on the point scale, but it's our chance to say hi and get to know each other. And then we're going to start in on our project. So we are going to brainstorm ideas and explore asking questions in our discussion, and we're going to take those ideas and use them in the topic proposal. Our class is very much sort of a Lego building block project. We are going to start at the base, and we're going to use every single assignment to build, and reach the highest skyscraper. So what you share here in your discussion is a great spot to start to say, ooh, what does that look like? What am I thinking? And to get feedback from your peers and classmates so that you can then grow your topic proposal. So let's go look at each of these. So first off, let's get to know each other. Don't forget to check out my post. Don't forget to check out things like the Student Lounge for questions. Our 4 questions here are, what is your impression of the purpose behind writing? What expectations or maybe hesitations or maybe goals, who knows, do we have for this class? Explore something about your writing process, like how do you tackle this idea that you have to write something like this? What sort of sequential ideas do you have? Do you have any? Because sometimes we enact a lot of steps, but we don't really think of them as individual steps. And then we want to talk about how confident we are. And don't forget to share a little bit about you so that we can all get to know you. Next, we have our brainstorming ideas and asking questions discussion board. This is the start of all of that work that we're going to be doing in writing our paper. We are doing little building blocks at a time. Each little Lego is going to add up to a great big design in the end. I have 2 slides for this one because we have how we interact with the questions, and we're going to follow that by how we interact with our peers and some tips and tricks and ideas. So the first question that we always have when we're going to write something is, well, you have to write something. What is that going to look like? What kind of things do we do with that? So that looks like exploring our degree or career field. I think it's such a great step to take because there are often things about our career field that we don't really know about or haven't considered. So it's a really exciting moment to say, oh, there may be things I don't even know exist in my field. It also is really great because it gives us a little bit of a focus. So for example, here we have the idea of a degree in human resources management, and our career specific area could be talent acquisition specialist. And then that's going to help us find resources and ideas. We're going to start thinking about these things, like what kind of words come to mind? Could other words help us navigate exploring more resources? That's always a big one. I'll ask students who, I'll say, hey, are you struggling to find resources? What kind of words are you using? And what kind of words am I using? And between the 2 of us, we often get a lot more information out of it. So explore these questions and see what you're thinking about your career and those possible topics. There's no wrong or right way to answer these. We are starting this initial process. This is the baby step. This is the very first bit of groundwork. What is that field? What kind of jobs could I get in it? Do I know? Or am I sort of like, I don't know what's out there? That's a great spot to be in. It means that we can start to say, okay, well, what kind of things do people with that degree do? And how could that influence what we do in the future? Or what we are passionate about already? It's a growth step. Any struggles that you have answering these questions, don't hesitate to reach out and get some support. That's what I'm here for. The second part is responding to our classmates. And really this is a building block again. We don't have to go through and answer each one of these, but these are ideas to help us focus on how we relate. So for instance, maybe you are already in a field someone is exploring, and you can say, hey, my experience is that, I thought because it was described as, it had a definition sort of for my degree or my position, that it would do XYZ, but the reality is it looks like this. And that can be such a great support to give someone. Ask questions, because if we explore what words we were thinking about or what words they're thinking about and how that's impacted our impression of it, again, that's a great way to add to how we research and how we explore, because you may think of something I haven't thought of, or the question you ask could lead me to more ideas and insights. We are exploring, asking questions. Make sure you have a good couple of sentences, no one sentence, good job, attaboys. We do want to say good job. We do want to say that you're doing great. We want to offer that encouragement, but we also want to offer some feedback. Think about what would help you, and then that can influence what you share. Remember, that list isn't a checklist. You don't have to do all of it. You don't have to do every single one. We're just using them as a base point. So let's preview that final assignment. In the end, by the end of the course, we're going to have 5 to 6 pages of a research essay. And we're going to use all of these steps and drafts and worksheets and resources and library time to build up to that final paper. So by the time we get to session 4, we should sail right into session 5, because we will have built this brick by brick until we are really confident and ready to go. It should be sort of just tidying by the time we finish up session 4. That being said, you're probably going to get something like this from me. We are used to writing reports. That's what we want from people in high school and junior high. We say, hey, tell me about this topic. I like to think of it as a doctor's office pamphlet because you get that chance to say, oh, well, what is this? What do I need to know? Great thing, right? But we are shifting because you are no longer going to be that person who just gathers a little information. You are going to be the person who provides information and argues it. You're going to go through it and say, what do you really need to know here? I'm the expert. I'm the professional. And I have gathered this information and I'm going to help you understand what to do with that now. You are convincing us in a sense. I often feel that puts a lot of pressure on us, but really we're saying, hey, I'm the professional here. I know what's going on. And I have analyzed the data. I've interpreted the information. And I'm giving you my professional opinion on what you should or shouldn't do with this information. Remember, again, this is a step. We are taking you from that report to the research paper. So that's a big leap. And you may find yourself being like, oh, I'm over here in report territory. I'm going to get a bad grade. No. I'm just letting you know that, hey, this is what we've been doing, but we are shifting massively into something new and something exciting and something you're going to be really good at. It's just that it's going to take a shift. It's going to take a change in how we think and process. Oops, sorry. So, topic proposal. These things are going to go into that submitted assignment. I'm going to go through them step by step. 1, we're going to choose a topic. 2, we want to start reading about our topic. We're going to figure out the library. And then for this particular assignment, we have some specifics. And of course, in the end, it is a topic proposal. So let's go look and see what that's all about. Well, first, we've got to figure out what it is. In that discussion board, we're starting to brainstorm. What degree field am I in? What could I do with that? What have other people done with it? This is just giving us a basic framework from which to start. It's going to help us grow into something. Choosing that topic is not the end-all be-all of this project. It's just a chance for you to talk with me about where you are and what you're doing. And then I can come in and support you with that. But you're starting to say, well, what exactly am I going to do? What does that look like? How much time is that going to take me? What kind of conversations should I be having about where I want to go with my degree? Part of this is that you need that topic approval. You've got to share that with me so that I can help you sort that out. Remember, it's not a report, so you are starting to say, this is what people can and should do in exploring this and understanding it. This assignment is a resource. It's a place for us to have a conversation. So there's no wrong answer. There's no wrong way to do it. It's you saying, okay, this is my degree field. What am I thinking? And from that place, you have a discussion with me and I help you find a path to go forward with it. I'm trying to think just now. I had a great paper recently that started off really big. We were talking about psychology and the degree was in psychology and about counseling. And we were talking about grief and it was huge, right? Like there's so many ways to think about grief and approaching the world in that space and how we help others. And by the time we were done, the student was talking about a specific group of people and how they approach grief and then how that could be transferred to help other people when you are serving them as their counselor. So we took something really big, counseling, psychology, grief, and we turned it into something focused, something that was narrow and clear and really, really great for the student to explore. That took so much work, but also was super exciting, and I learned so much, and I think so did the student. That's what we're doing. You're starting off big, with big ideas and big topics, and then we're figuring out how to make that workable. Next, you're going to have to read about your topic. It's not just what you think about it, it's what you can support about it. So we're going to start with preliminary readings. And what I'm going to show you for that first step at the library is pretty broad. It tends to be encyclopedia entries. And those are basic and they're going to give you a good rundown. That's what we want right now. We just want, like, well, what is psychology? What does a counselor do? What's the definition for that? And how do I perceive myself fitting into that space? That's where we're starting. Then we're going to start to think about what we're going to argue and how we're going to explore that position later. But this is a baby step. We're just starting. We're starting to say, what's out there? How do I access the library? That's a big question. How do I get into the library? How do I utilize that resource? That's the kind of step we're taking right now. So for this assignment, we're going to decide on our topic based on that discussion thread. And as you start to explore where you could go, then you're going to read some articles about your topic. They're probably encyclopedia articles. They're going to be short. They're going to be basic. But you are starting to explore the library. You're starting to explore how to share. And that's it. That's what we're doing with it. All of those parts come into it. So the library, let's go look. The library and its librarians, don't forget them, is going to be our best resource. Whether you're online here at our university library or at your local library, we're going to find help and support. And I loved exploring this. The first library that we know of was circa 7th century BC, and it was the library of, let's see if I can say this word, Ashurbanipal. Banipal. Okay, I can't say that word, but it is super ancient, and that is how important libraries are. The library possibilities are endless. Notice I said librarians, so let's go look at that front page for our Clinton Fowler library. So I've highlighted this little button right here with one of my handy dandy arrows. Book a librarian. Go talk to these people. They love helping you. You can text a librarian. You can call a librarian. You can email them. Like, there are so many ways. This is where we suggest starting. You click on the Credo reference guide. That's going to give you a lot of encyclopedias and basics. But then you can start there. You can also start here. This link, this tab that's open right now is going to give you books and ebooks and music and things. If you click on the articles tab, that's going to give you smaller things. Books are going to be a struggle for our 5-week courses just because you can't read all of that, but a lot of books are anthologies, and that means they are collections of works. So a lot of times we'll find a book with, say, 13 chapters, but each chapter is an essay written by someone who is a professional in that particular area. So books can work for us, but we don't often read them cover to cover because we can't read, 300 pages a week per book, especially if we have a couple of books going on. Instead, we grab a chapter, which is a lot like an article. But these are all steps that we are starting. You are not supposed to be perfect at this. You're not supposed to be great at it. You're supposed to be tapping those buttons and asking lots of questions. So I will see you out there as you explore our topic, doing our topic proposal, and exploring the writing process.